It is my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this morning, an outstanding alumna of the Alleyne School, Miss Kristina Stuart. Kristina Stuart, of the class of 2004, Form E, held the offices of Prefect, Peer Helper, Head Guide, and Reed House Captain 2003 to 2004. Following graduation, she was the Alumni Scholarship Awardee 2004. She is a graduate of the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, holding a Bachelor's of Science in Sociology with Law and a Master's of Science degree in Sociology and Social Policy from the University of Southampton in the United Kingdom. Kristina is one of less than 5 persons in Latin America and the Caribbean to be certified as an expert in NVivo, the industry standard qualitative data analysis software. This certification enables her to train and consult in qualitative and mixed methods research using the software. Kristina is currently the Senior Policy Analyst at the Ministry of Educational Transformation, where she's part of a team that formulates the policies that support the education system. She is also the Deputy Chair of the Education Research Committee at the Ministry, where she reviews proposals for research and programming to be conducted in the education system. Kristina is also the Director of the Social Research Agency, a consulting firm in Barbados that specializes in research and training, working with local and international partners such as the National Wellbeing and HIV Commission, the School of Art Institute of Chicago, and UNICEF. She has authored 2 articles published in the Compass Journal for Teaching and Learning and the International Journal for Technology in Education. Kristina is a mother to a rambunctious toddler, Noah, and a breast cancer survivor 2 years and counting. She spends her spare time as the chair of the Social Outreach Committee of the All Souls Anglican Church, where she is a member and connecting with friends and loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming home one of our own, Miss Kristina Stuart.
To the families who supported with love, and most of all, to the graduating class of 2025. Congratulations, you've made it. As I stand here today, I'm filled with a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for this institution that shaped me academically, socially, ethically. Alice Nonsibi has really been a foundation stone in how I've carried my life since 1999, when I first entered these halls. And being asked to speak under the theme Aspire to Inspire is a full circle moment for me. You stand ready to step into your future, your next step. This is the end of your secondary journey. No more daily scenic rides into Belleplaine, picturesque views and strong breezes, the freshest natural fruits you can find. This is the beginning of something far greater. You are entering a world that is changing faster than ever before, a world of opportunities, thanks to technology, innovation, and one of the most powerful tools of our time, AI, artificial intelligence. Cast your mind back to your first day experience, fully dressed and nowhere to go, sitting in front of computers, laptops, cellular devices to attend your first day of secondary school. As a then research consultant, I was working with UNICEF to assess the perceptions of teaching and learning during this unprecedented time. Your wildest imaginations could not have prepared you for the reality of your first day. In an environment that was new and uncharted, you were the students who had to step up. And it is on that basis of stepping into that uncertainty and thriving that I am certain that you're not only ready, but capable to transition out of school and into your adult life. Artificial intelligence has presented the world, and education in particular, with many opportunities. Last year, I attended the AI Revolution conference in San Diego, California, and saw presentations on the use and potential of AI in the education space. AI bots were used as personal tutors for students to assist with learning outside of the classroom. And not just for students, for teachers as well, with creating lesson plans, creating and grading tests. I even saw a presentation of an AI bot who recorded the teaching instruction and then assessed the ability of students to engage actively with that lesson based only on the tone and pitch of the teacher. AI was changing the face of education and learning before our eyes. But AI also comes with challenges. Sociologists, the unsung heroes who investigate social problems, contend that rapid social change causes anomie. That's normlessness, a space where life has shifted so quickly that you're not quite sure of where to go or what to do. And AI is all of the above. The news reports that legislation has not been able to keep up with or anticipate the regulatory needs of governments and businesses, as a result of the AI integration. In the education space, academic rigor and integrity needed new rules, where students and teachers might seek to utilize this technology to help when timelines are short, resources are limited, and why not? The AI was available. But AI does present complex challenges for education. It gives its users such unparalleled access to information. And not only does it give you this access to information, but it synthesizes it and presents it in whatever format you request. It goes against the core of critical thinking and questioning that is necessary for deep learning. AI doesn't take into consideration the nuance of the individual experience as it draws on information across the digital stratosphere. And I'm careful here to use the word information and not facts, because I warn you, the AI uses all content as knowledge, whether factual or not. And based on the instructions it receives, AI gives you only what you ask for. So what many users do not recognize is that mastery of AI requires mastery of communication and language. And in our social and educational environment, where people often lament the way others communicate, orally and in written form, we need to ask ourselves whether our communication skills allow us to have mastery of this developing technology. When I began preparing this speech, I put an instruction into an AI chatbot. Create a speech for a secondary graduating class on the theme Aspire to Inspire, with a 20-minute speech time. The output I received was decent, but it was soulless. The AI wouldn't know about my sociological background, my attendance at the AI conference, that I was an alumnus of this prestigious institution, nor would it be able to connect through storytelling in the way that I hope to do today. In my experience, AI is best when used collaboratively. When I'm reading and I come across something unfamiliar, I ask the AI, break this down for me with examples. Or as a copy editor, to organize and edit my thoughts when I'm rushing to a deadline. As a research assistant, who generates lists of literature I should review. Or a graphic designer, who turns pages of research reporting into an infographic that summarizes the work. The lesson here is that while AI is very happy to offer you an opinion on a platter, use of this technology should not replace critical thinking. I would be remiss, as a sociologist myself, if my speech did not touch on the implications for the evolution of social interactions. Already we hear complaints of persons living in digital spaces. Parents would say, you can't put down that phone. But AI has exacerbated this by actually creating on-screen environments where your lifelike avatar can earn money and make social connections, without you ever leaving home. I believe this transition into an increasingly digital world offers us a chance to reflect on the definition that we give to what is humanity. And at this time more than ever, our stories, our humanity matters because technology is a tool and we are the creators, not the slaves. So while acknowledging the importance of AI, the remainder of my address will focus on developing resilience as you make this transition out of school. To aspire is to dream beyond your current reality. It is to believe that what is doesn't always have to be what will be. It's the quiet courage to say, I can do more, I can be more. I remember sitting here as a student, listening to guest speakers pour into us about our potential and our responsibility to ensure that we had a good impact. When I heard the theme of this year's graduation, our school motto, 𝗚𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗁𝗍, came into sharp focus. What could I say to you based on my experience thus far that would plant some seeds as you transition into your next steps? As I prayed and thought about what I wanted to share, I felt strongly that this message had to be bigger than myself alone. After all, the motto says, for others, not self. So I did some research. I reached out to my classmates, colleagues, friends, graduates of the Alleyne School across various years, and I had one question. Based on your life experiences to date, what advice would you have liked to hear at your graduation that would have better prepared you for your adult life? Before I get into my report of their responses, I want to thank all the persons who would have contributed. It's something about Alleynians, Everyone was so eager to share, to give back, to inspire. 𝗚𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗁𝗍. In every graduating class, there are students who have a very carefully thought out plan for their lives. There are some students who are being ushered into places and spaces on the advice of their loved ones, but against the little voice in their mind that says, that might not be the way for me. Students who have ideas about their future, but are unsure of where to start. And then there are students who don't know yet. There's always a pressure of what's next that comes at graduation. But let me remind you of the transition you successfully made in 2020 into the unknown. Wherever you are on your journey, remember that your path can be refined, defined, or it can change overnight. So when you listen to my bio, it seems like my life was real straightforward. Alleyne, BCC, work, graduate school, work, but allow me to fill in the gaps. When I sat at my graduation in 2004, I was certain I was going to become an attorney. I was going off to BCC to do sociology with law, step 1 in my career master plan. I selected sociology on the BCC application form because I was too young at the time to enroll in psychology. I even remember having to look in the dictionary for what sociology even was. I went through my time at BCC, a good student of sociology, but committed to my dream of becoming an attorney. Then came the time to make applications to UWI. I remember our law teacher cautioning us about limited spaces and having a plan B. But I had good grades. Why would I need a plan B? And then I received the news. I was not accepted into the law faculty. I cried bitter tears on my mother's shoulders. I had done everything I was supposed to do, Mommy. I had good grades, Mommy. Why didn't they accept me, Mommy? My second choice at Cave Hill was sociology with a minor in law. My law teacher from BCC advised that I finish the degree and reapply to the law faculty again in 3 years. I took her advice despite the disappointment and soul ache. I turned up, I applied myself to my studies, and I began to experience a shift. At some point during my second year, I did the courses social problems, social planning, social policy. And I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure I can solve all the world's social problems if I get this right. I can save the world. I began to experience this pull where I knew I wanted to be an attorney, but I had developed this love for sociology. I graduated from UWI and went to work in a large law firm. I went to work in a large law firm as a legal secretary. In my mind, this would be the confirmation. In my mind, I would love the work so much and shake off this interest in sociology. But the exact opposite happened. I came to the stark realization that the practice of law was so boring to me. I spoke to my mentor and lecturer in sociology, and we began to explore pathways that were available for me to pursue higher education. When I decided to pursue my master's, I told the partner responsible for my department at the law firm. She said, "Sociology and social policy, Kristina, what kind of jobs you can get? You are a girl with leadership potential. You should do an MBA." I told her, "No thanks, ma'am." But I enrolled in Southampton months later, and the rest is history. I'll be using this story as the backdrop to share some of the life experiences and lessons from the Alleynians and myself. So number one, any path you choose, apply yourself and be your best. We will not know whether the path we choose is the right path, but it's our personal responsibility to commit fully to that path and work diligently until the recognition that the path has to change. One person put it this way: everything you learn contributes to your growth. I remember working as a legal secretary and crying in the bathroom. But when I dried my tears, I went back to my desk and showed up 100% in the execution of my duties. And I'll tell you something, the administrative discipline I learned during that time is a character trait that continues to be complemented as I lead teams today. Number two, just because the dream changes does not mean your success is denied. For many of the persons I spoke to, like me, the wants, the plans, the dreams that they had at graduation changed. And their advice to you is to be courageous enough to recognize when the dream has changed and go in pursuit of your new direction. Remember, it is better to admit that you've walked through the wrong door than to spend your life in the wrong room. Number three, always set goals. Sometimes goal setting for your future can seem like a selfish and conceited exercise, but it's necessary. Research shows that when you outline and plan how to achieve your goals, you are more likely to work towards achieving them. If I were at Cave Hill, I'd give you a lesson on goal setting, but since we have some time constraints, I'd invite you to remember this acronym, SMART, SMART. Your goals should be specific. They should be measurable. They should be attainable. They should be relevant, and they should be time-bound. Don't frustrate yourself and give yourself anxiety with a goal, for example, to be conversationally fluent in Mandarin in 6 months. That's not attainable. Take some time, be honest with yourself, and write down your goals and the small steps you need to take to achieve them. Number four, be teachable. As you live and have experiences, your preferences will change. Give yourself permission to try new things. Stay curious, not convinced. The moment you think you know it all is the moment that you stop growing. Number five, parental support. Looking back, my mother trusted me with my future. As long as the decision seemed reasonable, she was my biggest cheerleader. She always says to me, "I will take my lead from you." And at some points I felt like my dreams were too big, but my mother moved mountains to give me a shot. Parents and supporters, your role too is critical in holding these young people up as they chart the courses of their lives. Even where their paths may seem scary and unfamiliar to you, your voices will either encourage or discourage them from becoming the persons that they were meant to be. Number 6, don't be afraid to ask for help. When I taught at UA, I would always advise students to expand their social networks. Do you see someone in a career you want to pursue? Ask them for advice. Offer some hours on a volunteer basis and see whether this is truly the path that's for you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I found that the only way that the doors will be open to you is if you show interest in what is on the other side of that door. Number 7, reinvention. When this one was proposed by my male friends and colleagues, I thought it to be very profound. Young men who would have been labeled in school as troublemakers thought it was necessary that I share with you today that you can reinvent yourself. The person you are today does not have to be the person you wake up as tomorrow. Do not let the labels placed on you become the limitations that hold you back from fulfilling your life's goals. The guys also asked me to impress upon the young men specifically to be a leader and not a follower, to choose their friends wisely. People will support, to choose your friends wisely, people who will support you and not be afraid to challenge your questionable decisions. And the research agrees with them. There are volumes of published works that support the advice that your friend groups and social networks determine the trajectory of your life. And finally, do it scared. At the start of any journey, there are fears, niggling nerves that try to make you question your readiness. I have spoken at many podiums in my life, but I felt the same nerves walking to this podium this morning that I felt when I led full assembly here in 2004. But I am here, defying the nerves and overcoming. You cannot let the presence of nerves or fear of the unknown stop you from moving forward. Your success is not determined by the absence of nerves or fear. It is in the decision to keep going in spite of them. It is my sincerest hope that this message has planted some seeds that you will reflect on as you journey through life. Let us go forward and upward to what is wholesome and sublime, and daily by our lives record our names in the annals of time. Congratulations again to the class of 2025. Best wishes and God's blessings to you all. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Ms. Stuart for those words of wisdom. The information on AI was a lot to download, but I grasp that it is going to be a force to be reckoned with in education, but that you also have to weigh the pros and cons. I know that the part where she would have used her personal experience to share how you need to apply yourself to your goals, and it is your responsibility to shape the things that you want to have happen with you, and the fact that disappointment should not mean that you're going to stay down. You're going to continually strive.